So it turns out yesterday we got some pretty big information about the Xbox Series X. They did a spec breakdown, and in doing so, we actually got some pretty interesting news from Sony as well about the PlayStation 5 specs that are now confirmed, and this is a big time advantage for the PlayStation 5. I know a lot of people look at the specs and they might not know what they're talking about, or they might assume, hey man, Xbox has it locked down every single place, but that's not actually the case. While it is true that Xbox Series X is a genuine powerhouse of a console with a lot of customization and things like that, it did leave a lot to be desired in a couple of areas where PlayStation actually has a pretty significant advantage, and developers are talking about that as well. So now we have some confirmation, and it sounds like it's going to be a fun next generation for gamers everywhere. And I can tell you what, I am very, very excited by that fact, and I can't wait to get into this video. Hey, what's up everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. And you know, shout out to all the old subscribers, new subscribers, everybody in between. You guys are simply amazing, unscripted and all that jazz. Welcome to the channel. I do videos every single day, so thank you so much for spending some time with me doing another video. I really do appreciate it. So the interesting thing about the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 is the similarities between the two. You know, both of them are going to be able to do ray tracing, machine learning, the whole DLSS stuff, and to be clear, the specs of the Xbox Series X were actually incredibly potent. They're very, very strong. You know, there's nothing to really kind of poke a hole in. Like, it's going to do good for what it is, and I think that a lot of people are going to be able to enjoy gaming on this console, especially if you like the Xbox One X. You know, if you were like, well, you know, I play multiplats and I don't really care about exclusives, and that's basically going to be a console for you, you know. But if you really care about exclusives, obviously you're going to try to get a PlayStation 5 as well. It just makes the most sense to be able to do that. So this is pretty interesting. So they give us an idea about the machine learning of the Xbox Series X. They are giving resolution scaling, a DLSS-like technique, and character behavior, which seems to be related to the AI. Microsoft says it spent only a very small area of the die on acceleration hardware, while it expects a 3 to 10 times performance improvement from it, just like for ray tracing. So that was pretty interesting. We do know that the PlayStation 5 also has ray tracing and machine learning as well, which was actually confirmed NVRS from we heard that from developers as well. So we haven't had as deep of a breakdown of the PlayStation 5, but we do have some pretty big ideas on what it's going to be able to do. Like this variable rate shading and things like that is obviously something that's on the Xbox Series X. I liked kind of going through all these specs and stuff like that. One thing that I did find particularly interesting on this is their manufacturing process. So on this site, which is WCCF Tech, is the one that I'm reading this off of, confirmed to be based on the 7nm enhanced process, and the fact that the whole system on chip, which is the SoC Xbox Series X die, costs more than that of the Xbox One X. This leaves us with two options. Either Xbox Series X will cost more than Xbox One X did, which was $499 US when it launched 3 years ago, or Microsoft is going to sell the console at a greater loss per unit the second time around. So Microsoft has said that they do have, or Phil Spencer has said that they have some, that they actually have some idea of being able to sell the console at a little bit of a loss, or some flexibility there. Just how much flexibility is going to be key going forward, because from all looks of things, this thing looks like it should cost $599 or more, and it might be a value for that price, to be honest with you. Like for everything that you're going to get, it looks like this thing's going to be able to handle things 4K 60, you know, maybe even 120 frames. Like PCs that do that are very, very expensive, more than $500-600, that's for sure. But you also have to remember, you know, PC gamers and console gamers are totally different things. And so from that perspective, it might not be the biggest or best or wisest decision to sort of do that, you know, to try to sell people that. So I do think that what we're going to see is something of an anomaly of sorts, and we're going to have to see how that kind of works out at the end of the day, because I do think that, you know, while $600 might be a reasonable price for the Xbox Series X, that the fact is, without the games to back that up, that it's probably not going to do well. And again, look, Microsoft is making 2 SKUs. Like, even the Series S has leaked, 20 compute units or whatever, and we'll probably get more news about that today, supposedly sometime. But again, they don't make 2 completely different SKUs, with one being a cheaper version in mind, if they're not sure that there's going to be a higher price point of one of them. So we're thinking probably the PlayStation 5 is going to be $499, and that's a bit of a jump up. The digital version might make that $399 mark. Fingers crossed. So obviously Microsoft probably thinks that they can squeeze in there with a much cheaper price, but to where the point is that the PlayStation 5 has a bit of an advantage, which I felt was very critical, because this is actually going to help where it matters most, is the actual games themselves. And I felt like this was something that was pretty clear already, but now we have confirmation. So Xbox Series X is going to have 8 channels PCIe, and the PlayStation 5 is going to have 12 channels on the I/O solid state drive. And people go, okay, well, what's that mean? So, because I'm reading that and I'm like, okay, well, it has extra channels or whatever, right? I get it. So basically what it means is each channel goes to its own part of the flash, and it really opens it up for developers to actually get data quicker to where it has to go. So that's the way it was explained to me from a developer. So basically what it means is it's going to be able to get assets faster up there on the PlayStation 5, which is going to help them tremendously. A lot of developers are going to be very excited about this news because we know for a fact that there's 12 on the PlayStation 5, and now that there's only 8 on the Xbox Series X. But again, the Xbox Series X is kind of a different beast as well, just from the simple fact that what the Xbox Series X has to kind of do. Okay, the Xbox Series X has to have games that work on that. The Xbox Series S, the Xbox One, the Xbox One S, and you might go, well, same thing. No, because the Xbox One S actually had a bump up in in power a little bit, and not only that, but it didn't have the SRAM or anything like that, like the original Xbox One. So they've got to get games running on that launch Xbox One from 2013, the S, the One X, the Series S, the Series X, and a wide variety of PCs, and it also has to be able to work on a little phone screen as well. So, kind of take that for what it's worth. I do think it's interesting when you sort of see how that kind of worked out or whatever, but we'll have to see how both Sony and Microsoft kind of attack this. It's obvious that Sony has a pretty big advantage here, and developers are going to be able to take full advantage of that, especially their first-party developers. I feel like that's something that is not going to get enough credit for what they've been able to accomplish. But if you just look at what they've been able to do with a base PS4, it's been absolutely incredible. It's incredible. I mean, just look at something like God of War as compared to, something on the Xbox Series X. Even Gears of War 5, which I think looks really good, but it can look very stale in some places as well. So I think that's been a bit of an issue. So something like God of War on a base PS4 looking better than that, or Death Stranding looking better than that, and realistically, we didn't get a good idea of what is possible on the Xbox One X, because at the end of the day, Microsoft did a bad job of supporting it with their own first party. So we'll have to see where that lands and what happens, but it doesn't look like, we'll have to see. I think it's pretty much a foregone conclusion at this point that everybody pretty much agrees that the the PlayStation developers are much more are much more easy about being able to develop. They're much better developers, much more talented developers. They're much more out there, better. I think it also has to come down to like a leadership thing. I think that Xbox Studios lacks leadership, and I think they actually lack that drive and that willpower. You know what I mean? So again, it'll be very interesting and to see how that kind of pans out. But like I said, I do feel that Sony has a few big edges, and this is one of them. Just when you think, hey, what's going to happen there? What's going to happen here? I just really feel like Microsoft has don't have as much of a plan going forward. Like, their plan is a little bit of everything, and I'm not sure that works for most hardcore gamers or whatever. So hopefully we can see some things continue to grow and come from Microsoft in the future. So I don't want to see them go out of business. I don't want to see them stop producing games or anything like that. I want to see them do more. I want to see them actually go out there and, you know, be able to accomplish more. You know, I want there to be great competition, and, you know, that's the end goal, in my opinion. Great games for everybody. So I will link this stuff. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think about all this news? I mean, Power, are you tired of the Power talk? You actually want to see some stuff? I do find it a little bit ironic that Xbox fans are talking about Power when, you know, there's so little talk about games, and we're like 3 months away from the launch of these things, and there's been nothing new shown on the Xbox Series X. So hopefully we get some of that soon. I would love to see some stuff, but let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.